Hey guys, my name is Chase, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the fear of transition. Spooky. Why am I talking about this? I'm like 7 years on T, 4 years top surgery, all my legal papers have been changed, I should stop. No, can't listen to it. I remember like it was yesterday what it felt like to fear the idea of transition. So I thought I would make this video to talk about the experience that I had when I was younger, to talk about the way that I found out I was trans and how I was terrified to transition or to even believe that I was trans, and maybe talk about the things that I have gone through and maybe give a little bit of insight as an older trans person in the trans community. I'm also old, okay? I'm old. When I look at all these kids transitioning at like 12 years old, I'm like, oh my god, I'm 26. Like, I feel very old. But I'm glad that I'm here with this amazing platform to show you that I did it. And I am super happy that I did, and I am glad that I got through my fear. So maybe I can give you some tips of what I did and what I've done along the way. So I realized I was trans when I was 15. And I found some YouTube videos and I was like, oh my god, is this me? And I was really confused for a very long time. This story you've heard a million times, but I'm sure some people who have never seen my channel before, hello, hi, nice to meet you. Please click the subscribe button. Kidding, not kidding. This was back in 2006, all right? And I was confused and I didn't know what to do. And I made a bunch of videos that I deleted. I deleted them! I don't delete anything. I've been taking a picture of my face every single day for 7 years. I like to document every single part of my transition. I cry and I post videos on it and pictures, everything. Yet, I was like, no, I can't be trans. This is disgusting. I'm gonna delete it. And as I press delete, and then you have to like permanently delete it from your computer, I go to the recycling bin. I had a PC back then. And I press like delete forever, or whatever it was called back then. And it said, are you sure? They will be permanently deleted. And I bring the mouse over and I say, I'm gonna regret this one day. Boop. And guess what? I regret it this day. I'm so mad at myself. I literally wanna go back to 2007 at that point and look at myself in the face and slap me. You know why? Those videos were the rawest of me that you would have ever seen, and that was when I was so scared, and that was the fear of transitioning is in those videos. And I can tell you that I remember what I said, and a part of me is actually glad sometimes that I don't have those videos, because literally it makes me so sad to think that that's how I felt, and it makes me so sad. Like, I don't even remember sometimes feeling like that. I just remember kind of, there's a lot of that I don't remember because it was so traumatic, so I don't remember it. But kids feel like that, and people who are older feel like that those videos of me being so confused, and it hurts so much. So what did I do? I literally went back and forth for so long. Yes, I'm trans. No, I'm not. Yes, no, this is disgusting. I don't want to be trans. I don't want to do this. This life is so hard. This is gross. This is disgusting. This isn't me. This is not the life that I want. It's going to be such a hard life to have. So I ignored it for a very long time. And I had bought all of these trans books, and then I had bought all of these trans things using my dad's credit card and my Much Music prepaid credit card that I had when I was like 15. I got that card literally to buy a binder and a packer, by the way. And I had other things and I just threw them out, and then I bought again, I threw them out, and it was just so overwhelming for me to have to go through that cycle, because literally I would say never again, no. And then I would sit there and be like, oh, it's gonna come back. It's gonna cycle back. And guess what would happen? And then I would again go, no, I'm not. And then it would come back. And after that happening like 6, 7 times, it gets emotionally exhausting, by the way. And those 6, 7 times are literally fear. That fear is like imposed onto me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. I'm just gonna have to accept it and just figure out what I am and what I'm gonna do. So I didn't tell a lot of people. I kind of just walked around it for a very long time, but I was so scared. And it even came to a point where after high school, I told my friends, I was like, hey, so like, I have an appointment with like a gender clinic. And like, they accepted me. They didn't even ask questions. They were like, we know. You know, like they were just there for me. And it was really great to have friends like that who just, they really didn't care, you know? I feel like they knew that there was something up with my gender, but when I asked them recently, they were like, we just supported you with whatever you needed to do. Like, we just wanted you to be happy. But even with my family, not my family, sorry, my friends, basically family though, my friends' support, I was still terrified. And then when I didn't get into that clinic because I wasn't trans enough, they said that, by the way. They literally said, hey, so you're not accepted because you're not trans enough, but we'll give you some free therapy with an intern who's doing her master's. And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but okay. So I got therapy. I didn't like it at all. It was horrible. I don't feel like I got anything out of it, honestly, but I did it just because I could do it. And I was so scared for the 8 months that I did therapy with her. Do I transition? Do I not transition? And that it was so hard because I felt like I was in the middle. I always felt like I was non-binary. That term was never a term that I had ever heard of before. It was more genderqueer or gender neutral. I don't even think gender fluid, I had ever heard that before either. So I thought I was more genderqueer. And they, in their mind, saw that as you're not trans. You don't know you're trans. Like, you need to really know that you're trans to get into this program. I'm like, what's the point of this program then? Because they're the ones who decide when you transition. They're the ones who decide when you go on T and when you can have top surgery. Yeah, cool, oh my God, like surgery's covered here. They decide when you're ready though. And that's like the biggest gatekeeping of all gatekeeping. It's like God at the heaven's door, not letting you in because you stole a gun when you were 5 years old or something. I really need to come up with some better analogies, honestly. But point was is I was terrified, okay? And I didn't know what to do at this point. So I just dove in. Not advice I would give people, okay? I dove in, I found my own endocrinologist, I got my letter from a therapist, and I just went. And I got on T, and I swear to God, I was so excited. Oh my God, I get T, June 16, 2010. Today's the day. I go to my endo, I get my prescription, I pick up my prescription, I go to the clinic. This sounds like a song. The nurse gives me my shot, and I swear to God, even the second before my shot, I swear to God, I was so excited. There's pictures of me, I'm like, I look like I'm so excited. I was fucking terrified. I was terrified. I was so scared that I was going to regret this. And the fear of transitioning is like the fear of regret. It's almost like those are the two same things, and they're so similar and they're so intertwined, and one cannot live without the other. That's what it felt like. And that's not what it is, literally. I just didn't know what it was. So I went on T, and I was on it for a year, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be on T anymore, and I went off. And for me to be able to do that, that took balls, honestly. I don't like that term, but like, that took courage, I guess? Yeah, I don't like that because it kind of associates with whatever. It took a lot of courage for me to be like, no, I'm gonna go off T and I'm gonna talk about it to you. I got so much hate. Our lesbian is coming back to us. Oh, she's coming back. All of these things from all these radical feminists. And it was not fun to deal with, but I did it for myself. And like 8 to 10 months later, I went back on T, but I was so scared. And there were so many things that I was scared of, and the reason why I went off of T, I was scared that not that I was making the wrong decision, because I wasn't detransitioning. I was still me, I was still Chase, I was still male, I was still trans. I just felt like I needed to take control over my body, because I feel like for such a long time, I never had control. The hospital didn't accept me in that program. I had no control over transitioning. Then I got this random therapist, no control. I had to control and like go get some tea, but then someone had to give it to me, and I had to have a letter, and I had to pay for the letter, and I had to have all of these things that were just so exhausting to deal with, and I never felt like any of it was fair, and that it's not fair that I have to go through all of this. So I said, you know what? Let me do something. For myself, I feel like I need to be off T, and I don't even care at this point. I'm gonna go off of T because that's what I want, and I'm gonna take control over my body. And that's what I did, and I'm really glad that I did, because it made me realize how much I need to be on T, and I don't regret going off T for one single day. I am very, very, very glad that I did. And I think that after realizing that I can take things into my own hands, I realized that the fear of transitioning was more like the fear of not having control. Which is very funny, because in transition you're kind of molding your body into how you feel inside, but it doesn't feel like that when you have people like, you're not trans enough, I can't give you a letter, I'll give you a letter but for $140. Really? Why do the gatekeepers gotta exist? Why can't we just have clinics everywhere that have informed consent? You go in, they tell you everything you need to know about tea, you do your own research, and then you sign, and then you get tea. And it's literally that easy. If it was that easy, I feel like, yes, you still have the fear of transitioning. It's still there. Am I doing the right thing? Is this right? Are people gonna accept me? And all these other things that you could think of. But I feel like for me, that would have made my life so much easier. Yes, there are informed clinics everywhere now. That's fantastic. There was one in Montreal. The wait list was 2 years. I literally was like, I'm not waiting that long. So I got myself an endo and I did it by myself. And then like 7 months later, I got a call from the place. Hey, do you want your tea now? I was like, no, I did it by myself. So there's just a very long wait list, and that, no. It didn't end there though, because then I booked my top surgery and I canceled it because I wasn't ready. And I was like, I'm taking control over my body. I'm not gonna do something that other people expect me to do. And then I booked it the next year and I did it. And I was terrified and I was so scared. But I remembered what it was like to go off of tea. I remembered what it was like to cancel my initial surgery date in 2012, and instead I'm now in 2013. I am crying because I'm so anxious about my top surgery that is coming up in 2 weeks. I made a video, top surgery anxieties. I'm crying in this video because I'm so scared because it's a surgery, and I remember how I feel. It was so hard for me. It was to accept that I have to modify my body in order to be happy with myself. And it's not that I can have so much therapy to accept myself. I've always felt like I needed a flat chest. The second I started growing the titty, when I was like 8, I was like, okay, but when can I wear a t-shirt again? Like, how sad is that an 8-year-old is thinking that? And I'll never forget, ever in my entire, I know exactly where I was the first time I thought that, and I thought that my entire life until the fucking day that I got top surgery, and that day changed my life forever. And after realizing I did what I needed to do and I finally completed my body, the fear of transition is now a thing of the past. I don't fear transition anymore. I embrace it. And I am so glad and so privileged to be at a place that I can do that. Yes, bottom surgery might be something that I would want in the future. I'm not sure yet. Who knows? I don't fear it as a part of my transition. I fear it, bless you, Minu, as a part of maybe like the complications or how long it's gonna get me to get there or something like that. But it's more like that's what I fear. I don't fear the aspect of moving along in my transition. And maybe it is because I'm like 7 years on T, 4 years top surgery now, and I've grown into this person that I can accept and love who I am and love my identity as a trans person. And I think that the fear of transitioning was so embedded in the, am I trans enough? And me not accepting that I am trans. Even though I make these videos for the last like 6, 7, 10 years, whatever, how many times I've been making these, how many years I've been making these videos, it's still very hard to accept that this is who you are and 100% love yourself for being trans. And I'm at a place right now where I can say I 100% and am okay and love that I'm trans. It sucks that I don't got a peen, but I can always have surgery. I can have phalloplasty if I want in the future to get that, and that's great. But other than that, the only other things that I can think of that suck about being trans are if there's something wrong with my documents and one of my papers wasn't changed legally and I get mail with my birth name on it and I want to kill someone, or if I'm bleeding or something like that happens and I have to like go on hormone blockers and deal with all these things. Those are the parts of transition that I hate, and that makes me hate being trans. But me loving who I am the person I am today because I am trans. I would not change that for, I have suffered so much, but in the last years, even suffering through things that aren't even trans related, I've realized that that suffering, as horrible as it was and how I wanted to die and I didn't want to deal with it, have made me this person. This person who can stand here in my room, in this apartment that I rent for myself. I make my living reviewing products for the community. I'm a grad student. I do all of these other projects and all of these things. I can tell you, I can sit here, I can stand and tell you I'm okay with who I am and I'm alive. And this is really hard for someone to accept. But if I was 15 and somebody had said, hey, I'm 26 and I have a life and it's not just about being trans, but I love who I am because the person that I am has only manifested itself because of my trans identity, and I embrace that so much. It's the core of my identity to me is embracing who I am, and who I am is trans, and that's me. Please remember though, I don't represent the entire trans community. This is how I feel inside my body. There are a lot of trans people who do not like their trans identity and treat their transness as more of a medical condition and transition medically hormones, surgery, and then kind of go stealth and don't really talk about being trans. More power to you. You do what you need to do, boo. You do you. I'm on the other side where I have medically transitioned, yes, but I don't see my transness as a medical condition. It technically is, but I see it more as a part of my identity and I embrace who I am and I exploit it for the internet, let's be real. Anyways, the fear of transition is there, but don't be scared of really looking into yourself and understanding what this fear comes from. Why are you feeling this? Talk to other trans people who are in the same spot as you or in an older transition. So if you're not on T yet and they're on T, or if you're on T and you're not sure about top surgery, talk to someone who's had top surgery, because I guarantee they had some issues. Yeah, I want top surgery right now, but you can't tell me for 1 second in your head you weren't like, ooh. Because even if the ooh is, oh, it's surgery, you still had an ooh moment, and that ooh is fear. I don't know, in my opinion. For me. I don't represent the whole community though. Anyways, let me know what you think about this concept. Let's have a conversation, and I will see you guys soon. I love you all so much. Have a great week. Bye.